Okay, I know what I'm about to say may sound rather hyperbole, I suppose. And it is a phrase that has been, sort of played out a lot. But you guys wouldn't believe the day I had yesterday. So, first of all, I should begin by saying good morning and happy Saturday, everybody. Get that pleasantry out of the way. So, yesterday I said I was going to try a product that for a long time has long since eluded me. Well, I did. Yesterday afternoon, after I had my obligatory Friday afternoon Ritas, as I usually do, I went to the Horseheads Brewing Company and I finally tried Peas Macarons, a product that has long eluded my person. And I met the owner of Peas Macarons, or I should say Wiccan. It's basically layman's terms for a good witch, by the way, because, well, I'll explain. I ended up buying one of each flavor of macaron that was available that I could purchase. So a half dozen essentially. In the order that I had them in, there was the first macaron I had was the raspberry jalapeno macaron, and to say it was a delightful balance of fruity sweet and spicy heat is an understatement. It was perfect. It was absolutely everything you want when you hear two fruits, one sweet and one spicy mixed into something. Oh yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, peppers are fruits. They are. Anyway, the next one I had was a special one made just for the Horseheads Brewing Company, which is the chocolate stout macaron. Now, when people say that it's like beer battered or beer mixed in or some sort of alcohol mixed into anything, it already sounds good. But what makes that sort of product great is when you're consuming the product, you actually get a whiff. That's for that pungent aroma of beer, which I got in this macaron. It's very subtle, very powerful at the same time, and made it very delicious. And of course, chocolate, so that's always good as well. So that was very good. The next one, at this point, now, full disclosure, those first two macarons, I each ate in 2 bites because, they're kind of small. At this point, I pretty much started eating every single macaron available whole. So the next one I had was their jelly donut macaron. Oh yeah, the owner actually made a donut themed macarons, and so this one was jelly donut themed. Powdered sugar with the jelly inside. And I'll put it to you this way. I'm not a jelly donut guy, but the best jelly donuts I've ever had is in this one bakery on Liberty Street in Bath, New York. And they're called Long John Jelly Donuts. And they were the best jelly donuts I ever had. That jelly donut macaron brought me back there. It was that good. So the next one I had was, if I'm screwing up any of the names of these flavors, I am very sorry, by the way. Then tried what I thought was their cinnamon sugar donut macaron, which, it's really hard to go wrong with cinnamon sugar. It was very delicious. Anyway, it actually reminded me of a snickerdoodle, and that's actually the great thing about macarons. The way they look, you would think, from appearance, they look like a meringue cookie, but they're not. there's pillowy and soft on the inside, and that's wonderful. And it was like biting into like a soft cinnamon roll in this regard. Only it was room temperature, but still very soft and sweet and delicious. And now we get to the 1-2 knockout punch, in my opinion. The first was the glazed donut macaron. Glazed donut macaron. I don't know what this genius did who made it. But imagine taking like the best vanilla frosting you've ever had, putting it on an equally as good sugar cookie. And inside the sugar cookie, you have more of that vanilla frosting somehow getting inside there. And then when you put it all in your mouth, it's like a moist, delicious cake that completely melts away. And I'm not even done there yet. And then finally, the one I saved for last was salted caramel. I mean, I've said many a time, I'm a caramel guy. I don't know what kind of brand of caramel the maker of these macarons is making. Nor do I know if it's even if the caramel itself is made from scratch. But you gotta bottle and sell that. Please do. I will buy it. After having all 6 macarons, a better question is, what didn't happen afterwards? Let's see. I reached a plane of enlightenment and ethereal prowess. I had an out-of-body experience. I could most likely take a paintbrush and literally paint with all the colors of the wind. I started yelling words I should never say on camera. And all I can think to myself is, because I was eating these in my car, if I don't get out of this parking lot right now, I'm going to go back in and lose all my money. Because I'm going to buy all the rest of the macarons in there. So, I got the heck out of Dodge. I knew these macarons were going to be good. But worst case scenario, I was going to do is simply, I don't like it. I love it. These macarons deserve so much better. Seriously, to the good people of like Trinity Powling, Horseheads, Amira, Corning, everyone, go to Peas Macarons, or find where Peas Macarons is going. Get it. It's worth it. You will thank me later. I'm not even kidding. And all I can think to myself is, how did you do that? How did they do that? How did they do that? I don't know. It's unbelievable. And if you can believe it, that isn't even all of what happened yesterday. So later I got myself some dinner at Bernie Murray's, aka one of the 2 best places in the entire area where you get wings. I wanted to get myself some wings. And sure enough, I ran into a dear old friend of mine who happens to work there. We talked, we laughed, it was fun, and if you happen to be watching, because we're actually friends on Facebook, you actually totally, my day was going great already, but seeing you last night made it so much better than I ever thought it could be possible. And you would think that, if my day ended like right there, I'd be okay with it. Like, yeah, I'd be great. I'd be okay with it, I hope to see you again, dear friend. So, yeah, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. And then it happened. this is hard for me to talk about. Now, I said many times, several times this week even, that I will always be thankful for the experiences I had at Trinity Poly. I love the people there, and of all the individuals who were there when I was at Trinity Poly, only 2 people truly made me angry. 3 if you include faculty. Well, sure enough, one of those 3 individuals actually reached out to me last night via friend request on Facebook. And to put things into perspective as who this person was, before I went to Trinity Poly, I've said this before, my time at Horseheads wasn't very good. I had my own share of problems, and there was one sort of bully who was a year older than me, who, was just better than me, and no matter what I could do, I could never beat him, and he always seemed to rub my nose in it, whether he realized it or not. I thought that he was the worst human being I'd ever known. And then I go to Trinity Poly. And then this person is quite possibly the strongest human being, pound for pound, I have ever seen in person. I mean, I say in person because, you look at the internet, the world's strongest man, the world's strongest woman, stuff like that. But I'm talking like in person, like that I personally have been in the same room with or in the same vicinity as. This individual was the strongest man I have ever seen in my entire life. He was 6'8", a Division I football prospect, going to Boston College. No one could push him around. He was the best. And no one could, suffice to say, everyone wanted to be him. Heck, so did I. Yet, he couldn't be more of a terrifying individual. To say that this guy was a brute is a complete understatement. I would tell you why, but I don't want to potentially sully who this person is any further than I may already have at this point. And let's just say that, he straight up made me cry. That's even a glimpse of how bad he really was. This individual was so bad that if anyone were to ask me about him, I would say, if you're in the same room as he is, find a way to get out before he notices you. And he wasn't just mean to me, he was mean to everyone. Like, this guy couldn't be a more textbook example of a bully if he tried. So, it made me wonder, it's been over 10 years since I even seen him or heard of him. And yet, he's reaching out to me. So, what do I do? Now, I want to be very perfectly clear. Oh, sorry. My computer was shut over there. Hold on a second. that what I'm about to say could not be an exaggeration. Last night, I did not get one wink of sleep. I have been up all night, tossing, turning, thinking about what I did. Well, as well as other stuff that happened yesterday too, but more importantly, this. And I wanted to say this right now. Lord knows that it is incredibly easy to try and forget everything that happened. And Lord knows I've tried to do that. And the thing of it is, when I stopped to consider the fact that at one point I contemplated suicide, and it was the camaraderie and the love that all my brothers had for each other when Andrew Einstein had passed away. And that saved my life. And that does include him, the guy I'm talking about. I can never forget that. So, in the words of Old Man McGucket from Gravity Falls, I tried forgetting. And I think it's time I do something. Actually, before I do the quote, I should say, while it's easy to do one thing, I think I found a more rewarding idea. So, again, in the words of Old Man McGucket from Gravity Falls, I tried forgetting. I think it's time I start forgiving. So, I accepted his friend request. And if, in fact, I accepted his friend request on the possible chance that he is watching this, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube or maybe the 1-minute clip on Instagram. If you are watching this, I want you to know that if you truly are sorry for everything you've done, and I want to make no, pull no punches here. I will admit I was never perfect either, but I always try to be well-meaning, try to make good choices. So, if you're truly sorry for what you did, not only to me and to all the rest of our brothers, I can forgive you. I can. Pardon the language, but fucking me, that felt so good to say. Boy, if I have a week like this filled with trying Central Hots for the first time and peas macarons and, seeing an old friend and forgiving someone I thought I would never forgive. After coming back from Trinity Pauling, I think I'm going to go back to Trinity Pauling more often. Oh, goodness me. I'm just going to skip the beginning part and just say I'm humbled I was able to make this video for all of you guys to see. I'm hopeful that to the person I just forgave, you're living a happy life. And, from what I've actually seen on Facebook, it looks like you just recently got married. So, congratulations. She seems nice. I hope your ceremony was wonderful. I hope that's the case. And remember, if any of you guys ever want to talk or chat, I'll always be here to lend an ear, and I'll always have your back. Take care and make good choices. Bye.